Hey guys, it's me, SD Vaughn here with another video. I've been putting this video off for a pretty long time along with the book, but I finally read it. Finally read the book. I enjoyed it. I liked it. So the book is just on Secret Reverse by Kazuki Takahashi. It's with Spider-Man and Iron Man coming to Japan to face off against this new entity in a kind of Yu-Gi-Oh like style, and I kind of like it. I really enjoyed it. And I like some of the designs. I like the art style of the antagonist. I like some of there were certain panels I just really enjoyed. I really liked the color to it. I thought it was just pretty cool. So, just before I go any further, just want to say spoilers ahead. In case you guys haven't read the book, so I don't ruin it for you guys. In case you guys want to read it. Primarily, I just want to talk about the Deathals. The Deathal. It's literally just death with AL. That's what they're called in the book, the antagonists in this story. They're just called the Deathals. So, like, the basis of the story is that this guy named Kaio is unveiling this new card game machine called the Deathal machine. He's the creator of this new card game called Secret Reverse. Name of the story. But it kicks off with Iron Man coming to Japan to come to this gaming convention to go see this guy's new machine because he was invited by Kaio's daughter Hiromi because she wants to get her father back because for the last 70 years, he's been a little bit off his rocker because for the last 70 years, he's been, his brain has been mind controlled by the real masterminds, the real villains of the story called the Deathals, or specifically to the one that we get to see actually talking to Kaio is called Master Deathal. Now, what I really, there's not really much specifically to Master Deathal that we really get to learn. Basically, what Master Deathal is like some kind of quantum scale machine life organism. They can't be seen by the naked eye because of how, I guess, how small they are on a quantum scale, which is why in certain panels in the story, when you see Kaio, because in a scene after Kaio's talking to Master Deathal, you see him physically able to see each other. Like they're just talking and they're having their conversation with each other during these couple of panels. So it's kind of interesting in that way. And then they're like their whole thing is that they're kind of just really metallic in nature, and especially because the naming of the cards. Come on, and he also mentions it himself. Master Deathal mentions it himself. Literally, I don't know if that's what the species are called, but that's what he's called Master Deathal, and then it's called the Deathal machine and all that. So I'm just calling them the Deathals. So I don't really know. So that's really what they are. They're just little machine life organisms. We don't know what kind of world. I don't think they don't really describe what kind of world they're from or what it's like or anything like that. Other than that, they're just machine life organisms for some other dimension. And their whole end game here throughout this entire story, which starts pretty much 7 years prior to before the events of the story, of sending this interdimensional message to Kaio in the form of a card that he starts speaking to, because that's when they brainwash him. As you also see later that they try to do to both Spider-Man and they have already done to Kaio. And he starts talking to the card. He's losing his mind. He's being controlled. He starts making other cards and starts working on what would later become the Deathal machine and will later become the card game known as Secret Reverse. I never understood what that means because he screams a lot every time he puts a card on the Deathal machine. He's like, Secret Reverse! Secret Reverse! I have no clue what that means. I have no idea what the meaning of it is for the card game. It's just called Secret Reverse. Other than that, I see like in one panel the card flips over when he activates it, but I don't even know beyond that. But anyway, I'm getting lost. I'm getting lost here. So, Yeah, so he's spending the last 7 years to create Secret Reverse and the Deathal machines and the whole plan, which kind of reminds me of Secret Invasion with the Skrulls in the Marvel Universe, with the Skrulls replacing certain Marvel superheroes and all that and replacing them with Skrulls, and now no one knows who is who or who they can trust and whatnot. Like, it's similar to that, like where they're, like no one knows what's going on until it's too late, where this probably would have happened if not for Spider-Man sneaking up and spying on Kaio and Master Deathal's conversation, where they're literally doing the whole villain thing, spelling out their whole entire plan about what their plan is. Even though they've been playing this for 7 years, I don't know why he needs to ask them to reiterate what their objective is and what their goals are. He's been working on this for 7 years, but I digress. Anyway, their plan is basically, so with these Deathal machines that Kyle's making, he's going to then put them in mass production, put them on the market. All the people that are people that love this card game are going to buy it. They're going to get the cards. But what they don't know is that part of the plan um, is that all these Deathals from this other dimension are going to come out of these Deathal machines, mind control the humans that are wearing them, using them, or anyone around them, and just basically take over the planet. And nobody would be none the wiser, because to them it's just a card game. I mean, literally, in one panel in this book, to show the power of the Deathal machine and also just get an edge on Tony Stark, Kyle has Tony Stark come up on the stage, play a game with him where he has to hold a card for like a minute. He puts a card on the Deathal machine, but then Kyle then reveals, he shows the monster, the creature that's holding Tony Stark in midair, that's also kind of choking him, and the crowd doesn't think it's a threat. The crowd doesn't feel like they should be calling the police or anything like that, or think this is too dangerous to be on the market or anything. Everyone's just clapping, shouting Kyle's name, like Kyle, Kyle, Kyle. And, they're just like, oh yeah, we're definitely going to buy this Deathal machine. Even though it literally has death in the name. But hey, this plan would have worked if not for Spider-Man. Being our Philly neighborhood Spider-Man, we're all calling up, listening on the villain's evil plan. Like, literally, they're like, okay, so he's like, Kyle goes into a dressing room or whatever after the whole presentation is over, and he's just like, okay, I'm gonna put Master Deathal's card in. Hey, look, let me talk to you. Hey, look, the plan's going according to plan. Everything's going according to plan. Soon we'll release the Deathal machine, and you guys are having your invasion. And the Deathal machine's like, oh, no, like, you're smart because we made you that way. We upgraded you. Now, what is the plan? Tell us the plan in great detail, and we'll describe everything here so that this wall crawler, who for some reason we don't see on the ceiling, can hear everything that we're saying. So as he's explaining it, is that their little dual disc type Deathal machine that he's wearing across his body and chest. The Deathals are going to absorb all the photons through the holograms as they're entering through the portal created by the Deathal machine, so that they can become physical and tangible here in the Marvel in this world. Okay, in this world, become physical in this world, the world that's created here in this book. Okay, so that's how their plan was going to work. And it's actually pretty clever. If not for Spider-Man hearing it, it probably would have worked. Like, literally, their plan took 7 years to make this work. And it all falls to crap thanks to Spider-Man overhearing everything they were saying. And then, tells Iron Man. And, of course, he gets into a tussle with Kyle. He tries to take Master Deathal. He takes the card from him. Which also brings me to another question. Because, like, he takes the card from Kyle, the Master Deathal card. But then Kyle's like, oh shoot, I have copies. of Master Deathal. I've made multiple copies, so it wouldn't even matter. Which is kind of interesting. So I'm like, how does that work? Is it the same Master Deathal when you place the card on the Deathal machine, or is it a different one? Or because they're all just this machine-like organism, sort of like, is it like a hive mind, so it doesn't matter? Because it's an interesting thought to think about. But so yeah, and then eventually Iron Man joins that fight, and then eventually Hiromu and Masaru would get caught up in all this, and then they, it's a whole big fight. They can't seem to defeat the Deathals, which is another good point I want to bring up about the Deathals here. So, these guys are pretty tough. At least as it shows here. First, they're allowing Kyle to fly somehow for whatever reason. Like literally, when the battle takes place outside the building, first they're fighting in an enclosed space. But then Spider-Man distracts Kyle long enough so that he could break out of a window, get outside, and he's like, "Oh, hey, can you fly or anything like that?" And Kyle just floats out the broken window. He's just standing there in midair, and and Spider-Man's like, "Oh shoot, you can fly," and so they're letting him be able to fly, and when he uses the Deathal machine, as he tells us, can use up to 6 cards. So he used the first card to make these dragon two-headed like beings to attack Spider-Man when they're inside the building. Then when he's outside, he puts a second card down that generates blades and all that to attack Spider-Man too. So he's got 2 monsters out right now, 2 cards going out right now. Then he puts down the third card, was just a 1-minute timer so he can turn invisible. And he's telling Spider-Man, like, come on, attack me. I'll give you 1 minute to attack me right now. I won't do anything. See, I'm down. Attack me. Give it all you got. But it was just a trick so they could attack Spider-Man from behind. But of course, the spider sense. And then he puts down 3 more cards, which is Master Deathal, and 2 other cards, which creates this giant metallic creature all around Kyle. First, it gives him like a metallic shell, so that Iron Man and Spider-Man cannot break through and break the Deathal machine and the portals. When Iron Man uses his repulsor blast to hit one of them, it just regenerates as if that damage was never taken. Then when they rip off a part of it and Spider-Man swings it back onto them to cut, do some damage, it just gets back absorbed as if nothing ever happened. So there was nothing Spider-Man and Iron Man could do. This thing was pretty durable. It had, there's, and the fact that he could use up to 6 cards. There's nothing pretty much like they could do to defeat them. The Deathals, if this invasion would have probably went through, there's probably nothing they could have done to stop this invasion. Like, especially the fact that they can also brainwash people. Like, they were going to brainwash Spider-Man to bring him to their side and use it against them. So if he got brought to their side and he had a Deathal machine along with the spider powers, oh boy. And then they recovered him with a metal shell. That's as hard as that, because Iron Man's repulsor blast didn't do anything. There's nothing to get through that. Plus, no, actually, never mind. He says he probably could have, but it would have probably killed Kyle. So that's the only reason why they're actually not going through with that plan. So I got to scratch that and backtrack. He probably could have gotten through the metal shell, but it would have killed Kyle, and they were holding back so they could save him because he wasn't the true antagonist of this story. He was just being mind controlled by the Deathal. So maybe they could have gotten through that. But otherwise, there was nothing they could virtually do without harming Kyle. So basically, they were kind of screwed. Heroes being heroes. But other than that, they probably wouldn't have won because they were trying to make sure that, don't kill Kyle, because they were trying to save him, save Romy's father, give her father back to her. But that was pretty cool. But it made me think while I was reading this story, before I end this video, like, were there other invasions with the Deathals? Did they invade other planets? If so, why couldn't they just use those planets to invade Earth? Instead of just using this whole 7-year-long plan to create this portal to go through, invade Earth, or maybe this is their first try, but it doesn't really feel like it's their first try, because they're saying the whole way this plan started off is they sent an interdimensional message and placed this card on Kyle's desk. 7 years to this plan. They had to have been aware of other superheroes or anything like that, and I don't know, but it was still a fun story. It was a really fun story. I like the Yu-Gi-Oh aspect with the cards and everything else. It would have been cool if they had spell traps and all that, because you see these other kind of places. I thought he could place other cards on the Deathal machine, but he's always placing them on the chest part in the middle, and that little circular part. He's always placing the cards right on top of each other, one after another there. So I don't know. I really like the design of it though, and I like some of the art, especially when some of these creatures come out. I like the art style around them. Makes me think of Blue Eyes the White Dragon a little bit. I like the art, and it was really cool. I like the way everything, Iron Man, Spider-Man, the creatures, the Deathal creatures, the metal Deathal creatures. I like the way they were designed. I like their. I wish we could have seen more of them, and probably like I'm starting to think it's just a hive mind. I'm starting to think the Deathals were just a hive mind. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'm going to come back more to talk more about Secret Reverse along with Dr. Stone. I got some other videos in the works here. This is just the first in a long while of me recording. But I hope you guys enjoyed the discussion. This is just me just talking about Secret Reverse. It just feels good to talk about this stuff like this again. But I can't wait to discuss more with you guys in the next couple of videos. Hope you guys are enjoying your day, whatever game, video, book, comic, manga, whatever you're doing. Just have a good day, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Later.